Hello, hello. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I had a huge delay in getting my internet seems to be a little bit choppy. So, hopefully, we will make it through this. StreamYard is supposed to get rid of that and keep us going. Let's see how StreamYard works today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If this is your first time meeting me, I am Dr. Twanna Carter, and as a career coach, I empower stressed, busy women executives tackling imposter syndrome, self criticism, and doubt by helping them to alleviate their stress so that they can find peace of mind and focus on excelling in their career. So, if you can hear me, okay, go ahead and tell me yes in the comments so that I know that you are on here. I'm going to try to do my glasses this evening. Um, Sometimes they just work my last nerve, but of course, I can see there. And it's a good thing to wear the glasses. So we'll see how that works, right? Probably midway through, I'll snatch them off, but that's okay. So, again, if you are just joining me, today I'm talking about unlock the secrets to avoiding burnout and master your energy and thrive in life. So I'm gonna situate my windows over here so I can see comments when they pop up. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let me ask you some questions. Basically, have you ever felt emotionally exhausted from work or life in general? Or have you ever felt mentally exhausted from work or life in general? What about physically? Have you ever just felt physically exhausted from going to work or just life in general? Any of those three could really be a sign that you're experiencing burnout. And you only need one of those, right? Just one of those to experience burnout. In today's fast-paced world, it's important to really recognize the warning signs so that you can take action and be proactive. Take those proactive steps to prevent burnout. And so that's what I'm doing today. In this live, I'm going to guide you through on how to recognize the signs of burnout and then offer some practical solutions so that you can prevent burnout. Because at the end of the day, that's what we really want to do, prevent burnout. Okay, so what really is burnout? Probably heard the term over and over, and you probably heard people say, I feel burned out, I am burned out. What is that? Well, burnout is a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged and excessive stress. Right? Now, it occurs when you just feel like you're full and completely overwhelmed, you're emotionally drained, or just unable to meet the constant demands that can happen in the job, on the job, or even in your personal life. Burnout can have serious consequences for your health, your relationships, and just your overall well being. So, again, recognizing the signs, it's important to recognize the signs of burnout, recognize them early because that way it allows you to address it effectively. So, what are some common signs of burnout? Well, drop some in the chat if you've been burned out, drop burnout in the chat for me. And then what did you notice? What did you notice that kind of let you know, I think I may be burned out. I need some intervention or some help here. Right? So I'll be watching the chat for those. Some of the common signs include chronic fatigue. Even when you rest, even when you sleep, you're just chronically fatigued. You feel like you're dragging through your day. I gotta drag myself out of bed, drag myself through my morning routine, drag myself into the car, and drag myself through the day, no matter how much rest you're getting. Second sign, insomnia, just the inability to sleep, right? And of course, if you're not sleeping, then that will make the first one worse, that chronic fatigue. It's also forgetfulness or difficulty concentrating. And Long time ago, once upon a time, when I was in this burnout state, people would ask me my name, and I couldn't remember my name. It would be like to remember my name. And that's when I would know I was really close to burnout. The second thing was, and then this may not be true for some folks, but for me, I know my cell phone number, but when I was asked my cell phone number, I literally couldn't give it. I was like, I, I just couldn't give it. Like I said, I know it by rote because I used to give it out so much, but I couldn't remember it. Though that forgetfulness is a sign of burnout. Another sign is we're on number 4 now, right? Increased physical ailments such as headaches and pain in your back, pain in your hip, pain in your arm, stomach pain, just this physical ailments that don't seem to go away. You're like, I haven't done anything, I haven't strained anything, but the ailments still hang around and they may even travel from different places in the body, right? Number 5, loss of appetite or overeating. So it's either or it can be both. Sometimes you go and you don't eat anything at all. And then there are other times, like if it's in the refrigerator, if it's in the snack machine, eat all day, right? Number 6, anxiety or irritability. And this really shows up as easily snapping at people, going off at people, just very frustrated with people, aggravated with people, easily aggravated. And for those of us that are kind of easygoing, this is an easy one to pick up because we're not our normal selves, right? It can also include things like easily going off the deep end over small things, right? Number 7, again, you're blowing small issues way out of proportion. It's just the smallest thing, and you find yourself blowing up at the drop of a dime. Another sign that you could have burnout. Number 8, depression. Right, especially when you move to the point where you're isolating, you're not hanging out with friends, you're not talking to people you don't want to be bothered, you kind of shut everything off, close your office door all day long, you go home, you close the door, you don't want to be bothered. It can, again, extreme burnout, you can move into the realm of depression. And then number 9, loss of motivation and productivity. And this is the one that really, the productivity is the one that really hits us at work, because you can work all day long and never get anything accomplished. That part, right? Then it's just a loss of motivation. Like if it gets done, I don't care. Oh, it didn't didn't get done. Sorry, I don't care. Needs to be done in 2 minutes. Sorry, I don't care. 2 hours, I really don't care. It's that loss of motivation, not only in your professional life, but your personal life as well. Right. And also just feelings of detachment. It's also almost like you're looking down on your own life and it's you, but it's not really you because you're looking at it from a distance. And just that cynicism, nothing's ever going to work, nothing's ever going to matter. Who really cares? It doesn't matter. That cynicism is also, that's a big one, right? And then finally, that decreased satisfaction with work. You just, I don't like it here anymore. I don't like what I do. I don't like being here. And or your personal life. And again, burnout affects your professional life as well as a personal life. So what are some proactive steps that you can do to prevent burnout? Because this is a major thing you want to do first, is prevent the burnout. And so let's look at number 1, first category, we'll call that establishing a healthy work life harmony, right? That work life balance. I love it. What Oprah says, you can have it all. You just can't have it all at one time. And really, when we're talking a healthy work life harmony, that harmony is in balance. If you need to go up on one, you go down on the other, and you're kind of working at it, because most of us are really going to be totally balanced in our lives, right? But when it goes here and it stays here, or even worse, is here, and it starts to affect all those different parts of your life, that's a problem, right? So it's really crucial to create that healthy work-life balance, and making sure that you have boundaries that separate your personal life from your professional life. And in both, whether it's personal or professional, being sure that you prioritize self-care and don't get hooked on the thing that, well, self-care is selfish. No, self-care is a priority that keeps you out of burnout. Right. And so that may include things like spending time with your loved ones and making sure that you engage in hobbies and things that bring you joy, just relax you. Right. And be sure to fill all the roles in your life. What do you mean by that? Or, we can be lovers, wives, mothers, sisters, travelers, friends, aunts, sorority sisters, church members, any of those roles, right? When they start to one by one disappear and you don't want to be mom, you don't want to be the wife, you don't want to do anything, that's a hint that you have burnout. But taking time to fulfill those roles, and not all at one time, obviously, but being sure at different places in your life, you fulfill those roles. Those roles are what brings meaning to our lives. Okay. And then the second one, we talked about it a little bit, get adequate sleep. Lack of sleep can exacerbate burnout. When you figure that, the many governments around the world, they torture people by inducing lack of sleep. So if you are not getting sleep, there are consequences to that. You don't remember things. Your cognitive abilities decrease. Your ability to remember things, it decreases. Your ability to focus and concentrate, all of that decreases. You can't make decisions. You're not very logical, not very good at decision making. So definitely prioritize sleep by setting a routine. That's the best thing to do. Set a pretty much, as much as you can, set a schedule and a routine that you abide by, even on the weekends, right? And obviously there's exceptions to that. People come to your house and visit, that kind of thing. But for the most part, set that routine and stick to it, right? And then make sure that, because some people say, what is creating a bedtime routine? It's something that always happens. Think about it like this. If you were a kid or you babysit or you are a parent, most of you have routines for your kids. Mine would, they ate dinner, cooked dinner, cleaned up from dinner, they had their bath, right? We did the homework. And then as it edged closer to going to bed, they were in their pajamas, they had their glass of milk, read the book, lights out, go to bed. That's a routine. You just have to adulticize it, right? For me, the overhead lights go off, my computers, my screen, they all dim at a certain time for me. And then at a certain time, the lamp goes off and the TV goes off. And that's just a routine that tells my brain we're moving towards sleep. You also want to aim for about 7 to 9 hours a night, 6 at the bare minimum. Some of us cannot function on 6 hours of sleep because after a while you just kind of drop. So really 7 to 9 for most of us. There are some people out there, their norm is 5. That's their metabolism and all that stuff, but not very many folks. Okay. Third thing, do move your body regularly. Choose what type of physical activity you want to do, because regular physical activity helps prevent burnout, by reducing your stress levels and then boosting your mood. So really, you want to go for about 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week. But again, if you're gardening and you're standing up, sitting down, standing up, that's very healthy for you, right? So it doesn't always have to be go to the gym or work out. You may do the gardening, you may clean your house. If you have a schedule that you're vacuuming, you're cleaning, you're washing, and you're dusting and all that kind of stuff, that could be moderate exercise depending on how big your house is. If you got a second story, you got 2 stories, 3 stories, and you're going up and down the steps, moderate exercise built in, just cleaning up. So find what works for you. And then that fourth one, do of course maintain a healthy diet, all those nutrients we actually need. When things start lacking, our bodies start to break down. So definitely eat that balanced diet to maintain your energy levels, making sure you're consuming plenty of fruits and vegetables, lean protein, and whole grains, right? You don't have to be a vegan. You can be a vegan, it's healthy. For some people, being a vegan is not that healthy. They have to have their protein. So really do what works for you and be sure you're hydrating, getting enough water, right? Instead of, because some of us, when we get nervous, when we start inching towards burnout, we start drinking way too much alcohol, or we drink a lot of coffee and a lot of tea and a lot of sodas. Yeah, that doesn't help the cause at all. So everything in moderation, right? Number 5, manage your stress. You have to develop, it's very essential for you to develop those healthy coping mechanisms for managing stress. And it depends on what it is for you. I know some folks who go fishing. I know people who go hunting because it's relaxing for them. There are some other folks that are going to do mindfulness things like meditation, prayer, yoga, deep breathing. Again, find what works for you to manage your stress. Okay. And then the last, not the last one, but number 6, seek social support. And that is depending on who you are. If you're an introvert, yes, you're going to have some time that you need that alone time. But be sure to build a strong network of folks, because having a strong network can actually help you prevent burnout by providing emotional support. And we all need that emotional support, right? So definitely reach out to your friends, your family members, or your coworkers to talk to, right? Have a group of folks. We talk about a strong network, and you'll hear me say this a lot. The people who are nice and nasty, those are not a great support system for you, right? You want people around who are going to ask you those questions like, when's the last time you ate? When's the last time you had a real meal? You know, when's the last time you took that vacation? When's the last time you had a weekend off? When's the last time you slept? When's the last time you slept all night? People who are going to ask you those questions and kind of tune you in, because when you start edging towards burnout, you're in a burnout, you do forget to eat. You do forget to sleep. You're like, well, I couldn't sleep, so I got up and I started working. You will do those things, but a good friend, a strong network will kind of snap you back to reality and help you get that balanced lifestyle. Okay. And then number 8, set realistic goals. Nope, I think we're number 7. Set realistic goals. Overwhelming yourself with unattainable goals only contributes to burnout. And it can actually cause imposter syndrome to rear its head up as well. So definitely break larger tasks down into smaller, manageable steps and set realistic expectations. Learn to say no. We're talking about boundaries in next week's. That's right. Next week we'll talk boundaries, right? And so definitely learn to prioritize your task and delegate. You have a staff to delegate to them. Get out of that thing that if I don't do it, it can't be done. It's not going to be done right. It just needs to be done. Sometimes it needs to be done, right? You do overwatch, follow up, but do delegate. And then the next one, number 8, take regular breaks. I mentioned before, people who are asking, when's the last time you had a break? When's the last time you had a vacation? But more importantly, take small breaks throughout your day helps to prevent burnout by reducing mental fatigue. Right. So do step away from your work for a few minutes, those of you who can, whether that's stretching, you can sit in your chair, you can meditate for a few minutes, go for a walk up and down steps in your building, walk up and down the hall, maybe enjoy a cup of tea if that's your thing. But schedule those regular breaks in your day and also schedule regular vacation times and time off. Here in the United States, we're the worst when it comes to using our vacation days, but use your vacation days. You get them for a reason, right? And so when you realize that, you're experiencing these symptoms of burnout and the self-help, none of these strategies are working for you, right? Go ahead and contact me. Let's sit down and really create an individualized strategy for you to help you through burnout. Because burnout, it not only negatively affects your health, but it also can cause you to miss things in your career, miss promotions, missed opportunities, networking opportunities, delegating to your team members, training your team members up to become the next leaders. Team members will leave and quit, especially if you seem to be kind of a hard driver because you're always burned out. But we can prevent that, right? Reach out to me. If you're here, you're like, yep, I'm there. I'm burned out. I got a lot of symptoms here. Just drop burnout in the comments. And I reach out and we can set up, a 30-minute, consultation and see what you need to get you off the burnout train, right? And start living your life and enjoying life again. You've worked way too hard to let burnout negatively reduce or negatively affect your career. All right. So yes, burnout can have serious consequences to your health, your relationship, just your overall well-being, right? And so really by recognizing those signs early enough and taking the proactive steps, you can prevent it. You can maintain that balanced work-life harmony that everybody is working for, right? So remember to prioritize self-care. It is not selfish. Right? Self-care, selfish, two different things. Establish a healthy work-life balance, get that harmony going, and then seek a coach when you need help. All right. So you've made it to the end. We talked all about burnout. So you heard me say next week, we're talking about setting boundaries because when you lack boundaries, you end up burned out. That's the reason why, because some of us have a problem saying that two-letter word. No, no, I can't take anything else on my plate. No, I can't do yet another project. No, I can't do yet another volunteer activity. So next week, join me when we're talking about setting boundaries and how you can actually reduce anxiety by learning how to set boundaries. So be right here, same time, same space, 8:35 p.m. Eastern, 7:35 Central, and 5:35 Pacific Standard Time. All right. So be sure to, if you enjoyed this, I go live every week. Be sure to tap, if you're out on YouTube, subscribe to the channel and then just tap the bell so you can always get a notification when I go live. All right. So take care and I'll be back here next week.